Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and we're here today with Dr. Roberto Olivardia. Dr. Roberto, welcome to the show.
Oh, great being here, Jeff.
I love the education I get for you so often, and you and I have talked about those with ADHD and bipolar can actually have the same condition at the same time, and I got to believe that creates some interesting treatment dynamics. Can you just talk to us about that?
Sure. One of the things that's very, very important diagnostically is, of course, how to treat it psychopharmacologically in terms of medication. Mm-hmm. For the bipolar disorder, stimulant medication can sometimes make stimulants that are obviously prescribed for the ADHD can make the bipolar disorder much worse. In some cases, it actually can help it if the ADHD is a significant contributing factor to the development of a manic episode. If the chaos of someone's ADHD creates sort of all the triggers for them to develop a manic episode, but in many cases it can make it worse. And so it's very important, and the medications are very different. For bipolar disorder, the mood stabilizers have to be in your system for a period of time. Some of them have pretty big side effects to them. Some of them you have to get your blood levels checked. Obviously with stimulant medication, it's much more faster acting, fewer side effects altogether. So it's very, very important to make sure you're getting the right diagnosis.
And if I'm not mistaken, as you say, you treat the bipolar first, typically?
Yes, the bipolar disorder is associated with just more significant impairment and morbidity, and seeing that there's such a high risk of suicidality, or at least highly impulsive, like volatile, impulsive behaviors that absolutely you want to make sure the mood disorder is treated.
And one of the keys here that we wanted to do this is if you have bipolar, from what I understand from you, about 50 to 90% of the time you also have ADHD, and this can be significant in terms of your treatment. But if you get the proper diagnosis and the proper treatment, it seems like there is hope. I believe you have some friends that are in the situation that are thriving. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, that there is definitely hope. I have people that I know who have bipolar, who have ADHD, who have both, and it really just comes down to accepting the diagnosis or diagnoses and having the treatment, and just understanding that the medication is a way to help you engage in your life. So if untreated is where we see all the bad statistics.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you actually have the combination, the medications as a part of managing that really become, significantly important. It's almost like you can't do without it. Is that accurate?
Definitely. Unlike ADHD, where there are people that don't need to be on stimulants because they've made it work for them in terms of managing their external environment, with bipolar disorder, you have to be on medication because it will get worse if it's untreated. Every depressive, every manic episode will tend to get more serious with less of a trigger attached to it over time.
So oversimplifying that is if you don't get the medications, the frequency will increase and become more intense, whereas the medications actually kind of stabilize that, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on the show. This is really about education, and so if you're there in that space, get the right treatment, get the right person, get the right help, because there is hope. But if you don't, then it can create some real problems.
Absolutely, definitely. There's definitely hope with treatment, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Olivardia, as always, thanks for coming on the show.
Sure. Thanks for having me.